Hi, everybody. I'm Terry. I'm in the shop. Oh, that's better. Hi, everybody. I'm Jerry from the Military Collectible Shop. And we'd gotten such a positive response from the last time that I opened up the box of patches that I actually wanted to share with you one of the latest collections that we just got in. Since everybody else is still dealing with the whole COVID thing, I know everybody can't get out and stop by, even though the shop is now open. So we're not requiring masks, but you know, mask up, stay safe, wash your hands, use sanitizer, maintain distancing, do all that stuff. Just be smart, because it's still out there. I know summer's here and it's really hard to, you know, get away from that, but it's still something to worry about. So anyways, I wanted to show you today. I had just worked out a deal on kind of an interesting collection, and I wanted to share it with all of you. So let's take a look. So I just got this box in this week. And one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is obviously we do have a lot of walk-in traffic here at the shop, where people bring us things that they find in their attics and basements, and you know, things that their families or estates. We have a lot of pickers who come by, people who buy things around the state at auctions or rummage sales or tag sales, estate sales, those kind of things, because they know that we pay fairly. But we also have a really big following around the states and actually around the world. So this was actually sent to us by someone in California. So we worked out a deal. So let's take a look. That's a knife. I know several of you thought it might be Italian because it does say Fragile all over it. Those of you who are fluent in multiple languages. Pretty well packed, I have to say. Always nice to see. I hate when we get something shipped to us in an envelope that's gone through the rollers. All right. Nicely done. Protect the inner workings from the knife. It's always handy. All right. Lots of packing peanuts, always good. All right. Oh, and it looks like he took the trouble to label each thing, so I know exactly what's in what box. So that's fantastic. All right, more stuff. Lots of little boxes. Oh, some slings and belts. More boxes. Ooh, heavy boxes. All right, there's a lot of stuff in here. This actually might end up taking 2 episodes. Okay, let's start with this. That's the World War I gas mask. This is, I believe, is actually part of a grouping that was in here, where the soldier actually served with the 1st Division in World War I. So the use of chemical weapons was actually a relatively new thing, unless you count the time that we infected the blankets with smallpox and gave them to the Indians. That's more of a biological weapon. So chemical weapons kind of were first widely used in World War I. So hence the need for the gas mask to protect the soldiers to be able to function as best as possible, well under the horrific conditions of being gassed. So every soldier was required to keep these on them at all times. A lot of times the hoses dry out. That's pretty natural for these things. The rubber dries out. So we just like to kind of leave them as is. But that's a nice example. Displays well on a mannequin. All right, here we've got the World War I meat can, carried by the soldiers in their backpack, and nicely labeled, goggles inside. So there's actually a pair of goggles that came with this group that are inside there. Yeah, a little stuck. We'll leave that for later. Not sure what that is. Put that off to the side. Alright, I think the piece de resistance is on the bottom, so we'll wait for that. This looks like just a little compartmentalized bag. World War I Frisbee. Okay. Alright. Civil War letters, miscellaneous letters. Yeah, I thought these would be interesting. I didn't get a chance to read any of them yet. And again, I'm not going to get into real depth on them here, but I thought I'd just share with you some of the things. So we have a pack of Civil War letters and some other letters, and looks like a German book. Yeah, the yearbook for the German metal workers from 1943. So this was actually a grouping. I'm not sure if it was all one family's group, but there's several different eras represented. Civil War, World War I, both U.S. and German items, and then some World War II U.S. and German items, and then I think some later things as well. Okay, here we have silver wings, some Civil War GAR medals, buttons, collar devices, shoulder boards, and pins. He's got everything really packed up nicely. Oh, but here's a nice set that's kind of loose. Actually kind of neat. Still with the, it's a bullion set of wings, pilot wings. Still within the, still has a little bit of the original cellophane wrapper on it, and the original price, which was actually quite a bit, $4.50, which seems kind of expensive given the time. Some RAF insignia, Royal Air Force. This piece is actually the Royal Canadian Air Force. Again, this was a real interesting mishmash of items. Here's a medal. 26th Regiment, United Spanish War Veterans. September 6th and 7th, 1899, from Boston. So a Spanish-American War reunion medal. Okay, so we've got some GAR stuff, some Sun and Service items. Here's a box with some other medals. These are interesting. I wasn't quite sure what these are. These are crossed rifles with a little R on them. So I'm going to have to do some research and find out what those are. Maybe one of you knows. Feel free to shoot me a note. Some rank insignia. That's nice. Alright, some shoulder boards, some buttons. Again, more stuff I'll have to go through in a little bit more detail. All those wings. Alright. A knife that big, you didn't think I'd lose it, but. Alright. This might be the best packed group of stuff I've ever gotten. We got a sewing kit, some other little personal items. And those are always kind of neat. I mean, they still kind of tell a story, you know, about the soldier, what they might have went through, the kind of things that they did. I mean, yeah, where do you see a pipe anymore? Well, outside of Colorado, in Illinois, in California, in Washington. Alright, we got some patches. We'll open those up later. Alright, some more patches. These are a little more modern looking. Not sure what else is in there. Some spurs. Those are always fun at parties. Nothing says I mean business like a pair of spurs. Alright. Pack that back in. German medals buckles, papers, postcards. All right, let's see what we have here. Oh, nice. So we've got several different German buckles, some World War I. These were match safes. They kept matches in back then. Some little German tinnies and badges. Some World War I German iron crosses. These are nice. Another German belt buckle. This is a Nazi Party membership book. When you were a member of the party, they gave you a book. How else could you pay dues if you didn't have a book? And then some German postcards, some propaganda postcards. Just a little smattering of stuff. All right. Here we have some picture frames. And that's one of the neat aspects of collecting militaria, is there are so many aspects of collecting militaria. I know people who collect buttons, and people who collect knives, and people who collect medals. I would imagine you could actually just collect frames and photos. This is a real nice World War I era, actually if not a little early, well okay, yeah, early. It's 1917 dated, so I don't think it's any earlier than that. But a real nice World War I frame. Unfortunately no photo, but it's actually a cast iron frame. So that's very nice with the original glass, and that'll frame up a soldier's photo very well. And then this one, which I was excited to get from my own collection, is another World War I cast iron frame. And this one actually incorporates the Sun and Service flag, which you may or may not know. I actually wrote the book on the Sun and Service flags, the history of the service flags. So, little selfless plug for that. In service of our country, the history of the United States service flag. All right, coming soon from Elm Grove Publishing, San Antonio, Texas. All right, so some nice frames here. That's very cool. Heavy. Hard to believe they actually made stuff out of metal like this, but that's what they did back then. All right, move some of this off to the side. A lot of little pieces to this collection. Thankfully, they were able to send us a lot of photos, so I had a pretty good idea getting into it, what I was getting into. All right, this I'm excited about. Let's try this one. Maybe this knife is a little too big for this. But hey, when in Rome, get a good pizza. All right, here's some more. This is all World War II medals, patches. Okay, this is actually the guy who served in the 1st Division in World War I. The big red one, but we have got a little bit of mixed eras here. We've got some World War II. Like these are the red OPA tokens. Again, something that's collectible. The interesting thing about that collectors like about the OPA tokens, and OPA, it's not a Greek thing. OPA, it stands for Office of Price Administration. So these were the people who were in charge of rationing and things during the war. So in order, also besides your rationing coupons, you also needed a certain number of either red or blue OPA tokens to be able to actually buy food during the war. That's one of the ways they were able to do it. And each of these are actually marked with a separate code. Like this one's a XY. And I forget how many different codes there are. There's about 27 different codes. And so people try to collect all the different codes in both the red and the blue OPA tokens. All right. Yeah, so we've got the soldier's dog tags here. We've got his victory medal. We've got a first division medal here. We've got half of actually a German dog tag. The early German dog tag. We'll go through all that again. This was kind of one of the last additions to this collection that they had just found. We'd actually come to an agreement, and then they found more. So, but it was worth waiting for. So these are some Civil War era pictures and what are called CDVs, which stands for carte de visite, which is French for card of view, or thereabouts. Okay, so we've got actually some World War I pictures in here, World War II pictures in here. Looks like some either Spanish-American War or real early World War I photos. Some nice CDVs, and again, the CDVs are kind of a neat type of photography that actually really held up well. The real early photography that we'll see from around the Civil War era is what they call, there's tintypes, there's ambrotypes, there's daguerreotypes, and those were all like either printed on glass or printed on a silver tin plate. So they're somewhat fragile, and the images weren't always super crisp. By the 1870s, 1880s, they started having the ability to be able to print photos on paper. So that's where we actually get to see a lot of what the CDVs, the carte de visite. And you might even have some of these of your family laying around because it was a relatively inexpensive way to get photos done, and photos could be reproduced. Here's another one. This is a 1902 era soldier. And then these are the little Civil War ones. These are the ones I was excited to get because we don't see a lot of these. I don't want to damage them in my haste to remove them from their protective packaging. So, all right, this is nice because not only is it a CDV of the Union officer, but it's actually also dedicated on the back. The other nice thing about it, it was actually one of Brady. You've heard it, maybe you haven't heard. Brady was a real famous Civil War photographer, so this is actually one of his images. For Mrs. Moore, with the compliments of Lieutenant Colonel Petries, Stuart's Engineer Regiment, 50th New York, Washington, D.C. So not only is it a cool image from a famous photographer of a famous person, it was also dedicated to somebody and autographed by them. So that's really kind of cool. These were in some ways kind of like the baseball cards of their day. All right, so we've got, this looks like another identified somebody. Can't quite read, but another one that's identified. This is actually a German. Austrian. Then again, Austrians are just Germans without the sense of humor. This is an interesting one. This is John Wilkes Booth. Perhaps you've heard of him. There's another famous one. Our buddy George Washington. Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln and Abraham Lincoln. Very popular. He was popular. What can we say? Miss Abraham Lincoln, taken before she left for Springfield, Illinois. Before she left Springfield, Illinois for Washington in 1861. So, Lincoln related. Another Abraham Lincoln. General Lee. General Grant. Another General Grant. Another General Lee. Another General Grant doing his Napoleon impression. Admiral Farragut. This is Meisner. He looks kind of angry. General Butler. General Logan. The Grant family. Another Lieutenant General Grant. Major McClellan. You may have heard of him. The McClellan saddle. Ring any bells? And Major General Sheridan. With a kind of a funny hat. Hey, but you can't argue with a Major General, can you? Alright, so that's really cool. That was worth the price of admission right there. Alright, now for the piece de resistance. This was what had kind of swayed me in our negotiations. And he packed it really well. I appreciate that. So we do buy a lot of stuff. People either actually mail us regular photos, they can email us photos to militaryshop@yahoo.com. But we literally buy stuff every week. You know, so our inventory is always changing here at the store. You know, so if there's ever anything you're looking for, you know, please let us know, because we might have it. I mean, we're trying to get more things on our website, but you know, obviously that takes time, and we all have a lot going on. So if there's anything special that you're looking for, let us know. I call it a database. It's actually just a spreadsheet of things that people are actually looking for. So if I come across them, that I can find them. Because rather than have to go through all the time and hassle of putting something on the website, if I know somebody's looking for something, I can just sell it directly to them. All right. And if you're looking to sell something, we're always looking to buy. So send us some pictures, and if you know what you want for it, let us know if it's something we feel we can use. Otherwise, if you're looking for an offer, we're happy to make offers. Again, well packed. So appreciated. Makes for boring television though, doesn't it? Maybe I'll speed this part up in editing. Do you like it? It's a polar bear in a snowstorm. No, just kidding. Okay, almost there. It's a polar bear in a snowstorm at night. No. All right. This is an original piece of World War II propaganda. And it's actually an original oil painting on board. And obviously, you know, very characterized and racist depiction of the Japanese soldier being chased by a much larger than life Uncle Sam. The nice thing about this piece is that it's signed and dated 1942. And more than likely, this was actually used in some publication. I haven't been able to find that. I don't believe it was actually used as a poster, but I do believe it was used inside of a publication. So I was really excited to get that. I actually like original war art, and I have several pieces in my own personal collection. It's one of those things that I like to try to find when I can and get a hold of when I can. Because it's, you know, it's one thing to have a print or anything, but to actually have the original piece, I feel is really meaningful. So, yeah, overall, a really cool collection, a really varied collection. And I'm excited to have this. And some of the pieces will be appearing on our website. So if you're interested in purchasing them, you can check out our website. You know, so and me and Mark do this. We do this for fun. We love to be able to meet with people and talk to people and see some really cool historical items and be able to touch some things that, you know, honestly, you'd only find in museums. So, all right. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this romp through our latest acquisition. Let me know if you like these kind of things. We'll continue to do more. Or if you don't like them and you think I'm long-winded and boring, well, just keep that to yourself. But if there's anything we can ever do for you at the Military Collectible Shop, please let us know. Again, you can email us at militaryshop@yahoo.com. All right, everybody, stay safe out there, be nice to each other, and we will see you soon.